Now the 419 with Gretchen DeBacker, Matt Killam, and Kevin Mullen.
Welcome into the 419, powered by WGTE and presented by Wheatro Wealth Management. I'm Kevin Mullen.
Gretchen DeBacker.
Matt Killam.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm sorry.
He's got the giggles today.
I do.
We've got an exciting show.
Yes, we do.
We got some great people we're going to be talking to, some serious topics,
Yes.
which is a little bit different from what we normally do. But behind even those serious topics, there's great people.
100%.
And that's kind of been the focus of our show, is talking to great people about their passion and why they're involved in these things and how they got involved in these things. And so, of course, we'll do that. We'll have Dorothy Mockenstrum from Good Grief is going to join us. And then we'll also have Randy Muth from Lucas County Children's Services. And then we're going to have a more lighthearted conversation with Jesse Squire, a local runner. I don't know if I call him, maybe he called himself the kind of the historian of Toledo running.
Sure.
But we're going to talk about the significance of the Glass City Marathon. And the victory this year,
Yeah, no kidding.
and it's big for the running community, but I think it could be big for Toledo as well. And so excited to get his perspective.
And it's an
on
appropriate
that.
context for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I realized as we were starting the show today, just how old I am.
Did you realize that today?
I did. But here's why I know. This is the latest sort of reminder of how old I am. Is that you guys were talking about
Was it the date?
meetings that got canceled today,
Yeah.
and your excitement around it, and I get so excited when meetings cancel.
Yeah.
Like it's like one of the best gifts someone can give me.
Sure.
Is to like at the last minute be like, hey, and like.
And I want to be clear, it's not so that I could otherwise get stuff done or like be more efficient because I have this free time. It's so that I can do nothing.
Oh no, for me it's
100%.
Yeah.
It's like an extra hour in the day, so I can get
Right.
more done. So I'm excited
Oh.
about that.
Yeah, me too then.
Yeah, me too. Me three.
Oh my God! But that's I think
It is.
you've
It's
got
so
a meeting
nice.
scheduled with somebody, you block it out. I've got this focus time, and then it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna.
It's the only commodity there is, time. Right? Getting it back to fill it with anything you want is a rarity. I didn't realize being an adult is so terrible. That's a public service announcement from Matt Killam.
Yeah, for kids listening in the car.
That's right. For anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I used to be so excited to like get out of school and
Yeah.
have a real job and get vacation time
Yeah,
and all of
and
this.
shave.
Yeah, that's right.
No, seriously, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, no, it's not as great as it is.
It's so
And now
bad.
neither of you are even shaving, so
That's not true.
You should see my back if I don't.
no thank you.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's an open invitation.
Well,
To me or all the listeners?
Yeah, anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I say that's the show, I mean
Oh,
that's the
God.
entirety of the series.
Yeah.
We're just
Yeah.
done, canceled right now.
Yeah.
Never again will we
And
be allowed to
rightfully
come
so.
back. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
So we were going to talk a little bit about the tying of all these things, leaders in their fields, and I am interested in talking to Jesse about one of the opportunities, the great connective trail system we have as well. So if we have time on this segment, all the work that all the green spaces, all the municipalities, we've got Mayor Mondays, so we get to hear a little bit about the infrastructure that's placed in there, and from Dorothy, sort of the human people infrastructure, because you can't have a healthy community without healthy people. And she addresses a very specific part of things that are particularly challenging, that are desperately needed. And she's a great lady, so I was excited to see the run a show this morning. And Randy has a very difficult job and a very difficult time. So we'll be asking some questions and talking about the future of his leadership.
Awesome. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will dive into this Tuesday edition of the 419 with Jesse Squire, talking about the significance of the Glass City Marathon. We'll be right back on the 419.
Support for the 419 comes from Wheatro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at wheatroadvisors.com.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.
Introducing The Local Thread, a community news series uniting voices and storytellers from across the region. In partnership with La Prensa, the Toledo Free Press, the Sojourner's Truth, and Toledo Public Schools, The Local Thread brings you stories and conversations that connect our community. Hear it weeknights at 7 on FM 91 with early access on podcast platforms each morning. The Local Thread, only on WGTE.
Take WGTE with you, wherever, whenever, with the newly redesigned WGTE app. Watch our locally produced TV programming and your favorite PBS shows. Listen to FM 91 Live, stream our podcasts, and stay in touch with NPR News. Plus, get access to PBS Kids, great entertainment when you're on the go. All on demand in the palm of your hand. Download the WGTE app on the Apple App Store or Google Play today.
Welcome back into the 419 powered by WGTE. The Glass City Marathon is just a couple of weeks ago, and something happened that's never happened before. The guy who won the race, was stupid fast. And we're talking about nationally stupid fast. We're joined now by Jesse Squire. Jesse, you have been billed to me as a historian of all things Toledo running. Is that an accurate?
Yeah, that would be accurate. Yeah, another way of saying I'm old. Yeah,
I didn't use those terms. You can blame my brother for that one, who's also in the running community. But let's just start. I want to get into your background a little bit, but let's dive in. Just Glass City Marathon. Vinny just won this thing in 2 hours and 5 minutes. What does that mean?
2 hours and 5 minutes and 54 seconds for Vinny Maury. He's a 24-year-old kid that a year ago was running for Notre Dame University, or University of Notre Dame. And it's not just fast, it's shockingly fast. It makes him the 5th fastest American marathoner of all time. It means that the Glass City Marathon now has the 5th fastest course record in the United States. So we're talking about almost as fast as the New York City Marathon.
And what is this young man's name?
Vinny Maury.
And was this expected? Was this predicted on either his part or anybody else's part?
No, that's the thing. I would characterize this as the most shocking moment in the history of marathon running anywhere in the world, ever.
Because we're not talking about a veteran marathoner, right?
No.
How many marathons had Vinny run prior to the Glass City Marathon?
0. How many half marathons had he run? 0. How many 10Ks had he run? 0. 0. Yeah. He a year ago he was a collegiate runner. He was a very talented collegiate runner from the Youngstown area.
Shorter distances. What was his run?
Yeah. And when he first went off to college, he was doing the mile and the half mile, and they gradually moved him up. But it was one of those things where he had a lot of talent. He was very fit, but some injuries and other things just didn't work out. He had a constantly rotating system of coaches, and he said all of them were very, very good coaches, but when you have 5 coaches in 4 years, things get difficult.
Annually. Yeah, sure.
So inevitably, I mean, this win puts Vinny on a lot of radars, but it also puts Toledo on some radars.
Yeah, it makes Vinny, he can get into any marathon that he wants, and not only can he get in, they're going to pay him a large amount of money just to show up to the start line because
of this record.
Yes. I mean, basically, the world record was set the exact same day in London, so 6 hours, 6 hour time zones away. But in the marathon, in the running press, a very, very niche thing, Vinny Maury actually seemed to be a bigger story because everybody kind of knew this world record was coming sooner or later, and the man who broke it was not shocking that was the guy that broke it. But Maury, it's similar to if a former greenskeeper out of nowhere was about to win the Masters. If you remember the movie Caddyshack, it would be
in that vein. So is it possible? I'm so interested in the mechanics of him signing up for the race and doing it. Is it possible this is a fluke? Running that fast?
You can't, well, if you've ever swung a golf club, you know that sometimes you hit a shot where you say, I could not do that again for $1 million.
If you tried, right.
Okay. Running doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You can't accidentally run fast.
For 26 miles.
Right.
Yeah, that
Right.
would be like accidentally you're running right through an NFL linebacker. You cannot physically do it accidentally. You have to have the physical ability.
In interviews that he's conducted or things that you've read about him since, is it his plan to now proceed and stay in this and continue to do marathons?
Oh yes, he had said his plan was to do the Chicago Marathon this fall, which is to say that Toledo now is being mentioned in the same breath of this. It's the Glass City Marathon. Well, it's a very fine marathon. It's a great race. It's a well-organized, it's a wonderful community race. It's firmly ensconced about the fourth level of minor leagues. So it's an ECHL race, and Vinnie Maury did a Stanley Cup final run.
Give us some context for this. I mean, it's 26.2 miles everywhere, right? I mean, so what makes one race better than another?
Well, we're going to say that one thing is that it's really just how much money they have to be able to put on things. Toledo's, I love Toledo, but we don't have a ton of money. And what corporate sponsorship money we have for sports, it almost always goes to golf tournaments because that's what we have. You know, we have the Inverness Club that puts on a lot of major events, and then Highland Meadows puts on the LPGA thing. And we're always happy to have that, but the reason that we haven't had a true major golf tournament at the Inverness Club for a long time is because we just don't have major corporations to be able to put up that kind of money.
And so New York, Boston, Chicago, LA have big sponsor dollars, big purses if you win, which increases competition.
Yeah.
But the reality is what Vinny came in and did was run a time that would have won
Any of those.
any of those.
I don't want to discount the much bigger story here, but just out of curiosity, because people will be interested, what is the purse at some of these
Well,
races?
I actually I made a note of that, okay? So Glass City, if you win, it's a $1,000 payday. If you break the course record, it's a $1,000 bonus. If you qualify for the Olympic trials, another $500 bonus. So Vinny won
$1,500.
Yeah, $2,500.
yeah.
I was
Okay.
because he's a math teacher.
In Chicago and New York, the winner walks away with $100,000, a $50,000 bonus for a course record. At Boston, the
That would
Boston
make you
Marathon.
run faster, I think.
Yeah. So, and that's $150,000. And then there's other things that aren't really explicitly set out there. Every one of the elites at all of those races have major sponsors. Okay, just like a golf professional has major sponsors, and it's written into their contracts that if they have massive success, they're going to get a bonus in their contract. The other thing is that the major marathons will also provide an appearance fee because you're not going to show up. Sports are a risk. There's no guarantee that you're going to win. But for you to show up, they're going to have to pay you. And they pay appearance fees, hotel accommodations, travel reimbursements, and the Glass City Marathon website specifically says, please note, we do not provide these things.
So other than the purse and the sort of notoriety of some of those larger marathons, is the course one of the considerations too? Hilly, flat, anything like that?
It can be. Chicago is very, very flat. It runs more or less north-south, right along the lakefront, not too far away from it. And that part of Chicago is pretty flat. But New York and Boston are not flat races. Glass City is, but, if you're not fast, it doesn't matter how.
Right.
I did the Walk for Hunger, which used to be an event that was the following weekend or before or after I came to the Boston Marathon. And I was in great shape. So this was just walking. And it was a beautiful walk. You walked by MIT, you walked by Fenway Park. I got shin splints though for the very first time, and I was 18 years old and just out of soccer season. And it gave me just a taste of how grueling this would be. Have you ran, how many marathons have you run?
4.
Okay.
Yes, 4. At some point you get old enough that you have to start going back and counting.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's not like I have double digits to count.
Yeah.
Sure. And I'm just an ordinary guy. I was the Rudy of my college team, to give you an idea.
And where'd you run?
I ran at Bowling Green.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. So.
And there's an incredible running history coming out of Bowling Green.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
What does Vinny's win mean for Toledo, right? So as we talk about next year's Glass City Marathon, as we talk about the Garmin, like what does this win mean for those races?
Well, what it has done is that outside of the Toledo area, it's essentially unknown. Just like if you said the Huntington Center, well, outside of the Toledo area, it's unknown. It's a wonderful hockey arena. It's a fantastic place. The only reason that Fifth Third Field is known much outside of Northwest Ohio is because the Mud Hens' name is world famous. And it's a fantastic baseball stadium. It's absolutely, it's the anchor of what the downtown redevelopment, that's what really gave it the first push. And so we have a fantastic, wonderful marathon put on by caring people, and we have a tremendous community that comes out and cheers. And until now, nobody knew that because there's 50 races like that across the country. And it's small because we don't have a big budget to put on something bigger than that. And it's a small city. You know, it's not, you know, New York has how many millions of people? So, and it's the center of attention for so many things. But I guarantee you there are ordinary people around the country saying, hey, that sounds like a great race.
Let's go to that.
Yeah, and when you travel for a race, you know, you are being budget conscious. And Toledo is one of the reasons I love Toledo is it's a wonderful city and it's also not expensive to live or travel here. And so, but I also was saying earlier before the show, I guarantee you that there are unknown Kenyan runners waking up in the mountain highlands of Kenya saying, where is Toledo?
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Toledo because that's a place where anyone can become something.
What is the addition of the Garmin Marathon to the community meant to the running community?
That's still, we've only had it for 1 year, so I can't really say exactly how that is. I thought that it would maybe cut into the participation at Glass City, but it doesn't seem to have. The races were sold out just like usual. The races, or were close to it. And so the Garmin also is a wonderful race. It takes you through a different part of Toledo.
Yeah.
Way back in the 80s, the Glass City Marathon course started and finished downtown. And I want to say about 20 years ago, they moved it out to the University of Toledo using our wonderful Metro Parks and the University Parks Trail. And a large part of that was during baseball season. And we just can't have a race start and finish downtown on a Sunday when
there's a baseball game.
But Garmin now is in September when the baseball season is over. And hockey is not yet started up. So it's a time when there's a lull downtown.
Jesse, you had a couple of years ago, you took on an interesting challenge to run and sort of see Toledo in a different way. Talk to us about what that challenge was.
2021, there still wasn't a whole lot to do. We were still teaching online at school, so I had a lot of free time, nothing much to do. So I decided I was going to run through every park in the Toledo area. So that was every Metro Park, every municipal park, the few state parks we have like Maumee Bay, any even like park-like public space, like the area around the art museum, which they call Art in a Park.
Right.
So I decided I was going to do that. I could hook together 2 or 3 or 4, sometimes even 5 or 6 parks if they were close together. And it took me into parts of Toledo that I'd never been. I've lived here my whole life. I've been around lots of different places in Toledo. And I did not realize just the diversity of all different kinds of neighborhoods. And that different things there are little pockets of neighborhoods that you wouldn't ever know if you didn't live there.
And you didn't see it on your feet, right?
I did see it on my feet.
But you wouldn't otherwise be able to see it were you not sort of running through it. How long did that take you to accomplish?
I started the 1st of January. I think it finished up in May.
Wow.
What was your favorite park to run through, and why was it a Metro Park?
I actually got lost at Oak Openings one day.
Sure.
My GPS watch failed.
Yeah.
Something dropped a signal. I had no idea how far I went. It was in the newer edition of the park with the to me it's newer, where all the mountain bike trails
Sure.
are. And, I just kept going, and I said, it's shocking how giant.
Large, yes.
Yeah. You can easily run a trail marathon at Oak Openings without covering any ground twice. Easily done.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a runner. You've been doing this for a long time. I see you've got a shoe with you, sort of as a prop here. But how has the technology changed? And feel free.
Question.
I think I was when you handed that to me, I was shocked at the weight of that. But how has that changed in your time?
Okay, so marathon times and other running times have dropped in the last few years. I think it was about 2018, 2019. Some new technology came on. So this is very similar to what Vinnie Maury ran in.
You stole
it's
this
not
kid's
the
shoe?
exact. I'm sorry.
You stole this kid's shoe?
No,
Gotta catch him first.
Second Soul lent this to me, so I could use it as a prop. And so if you notice, the mid, what we call the midsole, the outsole is what hits the ground, the insole is what your foot is in contact with, but the midsole that cushions, it's much thicker than it used to be.
How thick is, we have a radio portion of this. How thick are we? This is like an inch?
This is 40 millimeters, so it's 4 centimeters, so we're talking about an inch and a half, inch and 3/4, but it rides up the side, so it looks significantly thicker than that. So they came up with a new material that not only is significantly lighter, but it also returns more energy. It's bouncier.
Yeah.
Okay. There's also a carbon plate in here, a carbon fiber plate in it, which acts as a
Kevin's
little
head
bit
is
of a
the same.
string. Yeah. So there's all of that. So this is what Vinnie Maury paid with his employee discount at Second Soul. This is what he got. The world record that was set the same day in London was when a prototype made specifically for that runner by the manufacturer, which weighs half as much as this.
You're kidding.
Same manufacturer, same designer?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Grab that shoe.
Yeah.
Feel how heavy that thing is.
Oh my God.
Wow,
It's
that's
insane.
amazing.
It's like holding a cloud.
Yeah.
Yes.
It also seems, I was supporting a friend that was running in the marathon last week, a couple weeks ago. This seems like such a flat plane along the sole than what you've seen previously in running shoes that have sort of, would come out and be more curved. Is that part of the design too, this flat side?
I can honestly say I don't know that.
I can honestly say I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
No, well, but yeah. Well, but if you look at the front of it is very curved.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you're pushing off.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How light.
So, also the back end of it, you can see there's just not as much at the right behind the heel as there was. Yeah, if you go straight down to the outsole, it's sort of like cut in a little bit.
Jesse, if we're wrapping up here, got about 30 seconds left. What's something that people don't know about the running community in Toledo that you want to make sure that they know?
We have one of the best running communities and one of the best places. We have more great places to run than almost anywhere. Pacific Northwest and Flagstaff, Arizona, and Asheville are probably about only of the 3 places that have us beat. Okay, we don't have a lot of hills, but we have more wonderful places to run than almost any city in America.
Love
If someone's going to go out and try to run for the first time this weekend, where would you say they go and try it?
Wildwood Metro Park.
My man.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Thank you, Jesse. Nice to meet
Jesse,
you.
thank you so much for joining us. We're going to
Good to
take a
see you,
break.
buddy.
When we come back, we're going to talk to the leader of Good Grief of Northwest Ohio. We'll be right back on the 419.
To me, community means connecting to others.
I'm Donnie Miller, and welcome to The Point.
I love CBS Kids!
We're a community committed to education. Discover new ideas, dive into exciting subjects, and engage with the world around you.
I would send them personally a t-shirt. Crime doesn't pay in the old West End, pass it on. That's how we cleaned up the neighborhood.
Vision loss for people is not the end.
It's a story, it's the next chapter.
WGTE Public Media invites you to Get Out and Play Day.
Monday through Friday, it's the 419 powered by WGTE. With Matt Killam, Gretchen DeBacker, I'm Kevin Mullen.
What can people expect on the show?
It's going to be an hour, a reminder of why this is a great place to live, work, and play.
WGTE. where you come to watch, listen, and learn.
Welcome back into the 419, powered by WGTE. We've got some incredible people making a difference in our community, working for phenomenal organizations, including our next guest, Dorothy Mockenstrum with Good Grief in Northwest Ohio. Dorothy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
If people aren't familiar with Good Grief, what is your organization?
So we support grieving children, teens, families, and young adults who've had a death impact their lives. And we do that in a couple places. We have a program space in Maumee, and that's where we support the whole family. And then we also are in about 20 local schools in a variety of school districts. So there, our staff goes in and we actually partner right with the schools. And like I said, this year we were in about 20 different schools. And there is a bit, not an official waiting list, but there's been some inquiries about other school districts in the area.
Dorothy, can you touch us a little bit about both the clinical, if that's appropriate, and specific definition of grief, or just conceptually what it is?
Well, yeah, it's pretty simple. It's the feeling we feel when somebody we love has died. So that feeling that we can no longer interact with them, we can't get to them, and there's also what we call secondary losses. It's not just the death. The death is huge, but then so many other things change, particularly for kids. They may have to move to another house. They might have to go to a different school. If it was a parent, their family's financial situation may change drastically. So it's a sort of this whole big ball of things that are set into motion when a death occurs.
And the ripple effect or the byproducts of grief, how does it manifest within children?
Yeah, so we know that kids that are what we call unaddressed childhood grief are at a much higher risk of problems with depression, anxiety, substance abuse, poor life choices, less resiliency. They tend to not do as well in school. It's, you know, when you think about it, grief is a physiological and a psychological event. And so it's going to impact everything we do, including the decisions we make. And so sometimes the things that kids may come across as some sort of behavior is really just the fact that they are drenched in grief and have no support for it.
One of the sayings is commonly used that I loathe is, well, kids are resilient. And I hate that conceptually.
Yes.
I hate every syllable of that. First of all, that isn't the bar that we want to set for our children, right?
Correct.
So can you talk to me about that? And maybe I'm totally off here, and you know that I adore you. In full candor, we are friends, and you know how much I appreciate this work. But talk to me about kids resilient. Yeah, I guess. But is that what we're hoping to achieve as a society? I mean, what?
So you're right.
Yeah.
That is partially true. Kids are resilient, but oftentimes kids need help to explore and express these difficult traumatic things to be able to tap into that resiliency.
That's right.
So our goal with our groups is to help kids identify healthy ways to cope with it, positive people in their lives, activities that can help: running, shooting hoops, taking a walk. And then in those cases, because when you have a positive way to deal with the pain, your kids are less likely to turn to the less healthy ways of, because it won't be ignored.
That's right.
We can't take it away.
This conversation reminds me a little bit, I don't know if you've had the opportunity to read Molly Shannon's memoir. She was that woman that was on Saturday Night Live.
I haven't.
It's so good. And when she was young, around 7 or so years old, she was in a car accident with her mother and sister, and they were both killed. And she talks a lot in the book about what relatives and things were saying to her at that time, like they've gone to heaven, or they're just,
part of God's plan.
They're in a better place.
Phrases, and she said, well, and she says in the memoir, well, I want to go there. Like, and didn't understand, couldn't comprehend what it was they were talking about, and really, it just wasn't discussed at that time.
Right.
Certainly her dad and family were doing the best that they could.
Certainly.
but then it manifested way later, like into her teens. What do you tell families that are experiencing this to the words, like the language that you're supposed to use or that maybe is better for kids to be able to understand the ununderstandable, perhaps?
Right, exactly. So it's really just being honest and being present and being non-judgmental. So we talk about that in our groups a lot. The kids talk about the platitudes of like, you know, and when you say no good sentence starts with well, at least.
Yeah.
And so it's really just like, I can't fix this for you, but I can be fully present to you while you feel and express whatever it is that you need to. And like in Molly's case, the adults around her were also deeply grieving.
Right.
That's right.
And so it's difficult to be.
They're just humans too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so, you know, in what we often see sometimes is that kids will try to protect their adults, and the adults are trying to protect their kids. And so there's this sort of roadblock to true communication. And that's why a place like Good Grief is so important. So the kids are in their age-divided groups. We work with kids from 4 to 18. And then the grown-ups that care for those kids are in their own group at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So that gives them time to tend to their own grief. And it puts them in community with other adults who are raising grieving kids.
How did you get into this work?
Well, my mom died when I was very young. And you know, that's definitely the way we were brought up, is that they're resilient. I was only 3, so the thought was she's not going to remember. And so went through life kind of struggling, really, honestly, and happened to be looking for a job. And Good Grief was looking for a director. And I had actually accepted another position somewhere else when I heard about this job. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'd never heard of anything like childhood bereavement support, but had thought to myself as an adult, how different my family's story would have been had there been literally any kind of support when it happened. And so when I heard about it, I couldn't get my hand up fast enough or high enough.
So you saved each other to some degree, or at least helped each other on this path.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
In my line of work, I I'm a criminal defense lawyer, and I represent young men, often young African-American boys, 16, 17, 18 years old, who by that age know 5 people that have been killed by gun violence.
Yes.
Have friends, family, cousins, relatives, dads, I mean, multiple people.
For sure.
And, you know, that level of impact on their lives and trauma on their lives is just doubled every time it happens, almost expected. Like, it's surprising if they, anyway, do you work with those
We
groups?
do, so that's a lot of the kids that we work with in the schools have been impacted by a violent death. And we know nationally 75 to almost 90% of the kids that are in the juvenile justice system have had a death occur in their families. So that goes back to that decision making. If grief is, and we know it's going to affect our mind, our body, our soul, how can we expect kids to make the right kinds of decisions to have the kind of life we want for them if their grief is not addressed?
You always, we are not in a very evolved species, despite how we've awarded ourselves this concept.
Right.
And to some degree, it's also okay to think, well, why my family has never experienced any grief? Why would I support this institution? But it probably dovetails to the comments you just made. If you don't think helping a healthier community of people grow up won't affect you, similar to not supporting the local school system, it's going to be it will affect you. I know that you are a bastion of information on the soft, but also the hard. Some of the stats here have to be.
That was a positive word.
What do you call me?
I don't know. You told me to say this, Dorothy. I'm just reading the script.
Bastion. Oh yeah. Okay, you got that one. Good.
This show has Sesame Street as well. We can't say what we want.
We love Sesame Street.
Give me some stats here.
Sure. So we know that in the state of Ohio, it's 1 in 10 kids will experience the death of a parent or sibling by the time they reach 18. In Lucas County, that number is 1 in 8. And that only accounts for biological mother, father, sister, brother. So we know that number is much higher. And if you look at, we also do a young adult group for individuals 18 to 30. If you look at that 18 to 25 age, that number doubles. So we have basically our youth, there is at least in any group of 10 kids, there's going to be at least one that is somebody very close to them has died.
Dorothy, the work that you guys do is so heavy, right? How do you manage that, right? I mean, how do you, get excited to go to work and separate the trauma and the challenges of your day-to-day from trying to also be a positive, loving person?
Well, because our goal and what I realized happened in my own life, it stops being this thing that happened to you and it becomes part of who you are. Like it's integrated into your life. And that's what we're helping kids figure out. Like, what is the world going to look like now that my person is no longer there? How am I going to move through my life? And we laugh a lot.
Yeah.
And actually a group of kids, you might think that, every time we're all together, it's very dour. It's basically a group of kids just like any other group of kids.
Yeah.
They're trying to wrap their heads around what's happened.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's emotion, but generally speaking, they're very matter of fact about what has happened, what that means for me right now, what that means for me in the future. And kids pop in and out of grief. Generally, they can't handle strong emotion for long periods of time, and that can be confusing to the grown-ups around them. Like, I don't think she's really bothering her, or clearly she can turn this on and off. And we're just here to say that that's how kids do it.
That's really helpful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it must be nice just to be in the group with other kids.
Absolutely.
That are talking about this. I mean, if nothing else,
yes.
Not alone.
You're around other people that know and can recognize what you're going through.
Yes, very true.
You guys have got a big event coming up.
We do. We have it's called Raising Hope. It is a benefit auction, but it's also, I should say, June 25th from 6 to 9 at the Pinnacle in Maumee. But it's more than just an event. It's a chance for us to get this community together to really make a difference. And I should say that our services are completely free. Nobody ever pays to participate. So we rely on the community to help keep that possible.
What kind of outcomes have you seen? An example of a kid that just did exceptionally well in your program?
Yeah, well, two things about that. One, I do have an example that always comes to mind. The other thing is, and this can be hard sometimes for our volunteers, is we may not always see the fruits of this labor.
Sure.
We are granting permission for kids to feel and speak the way they need to about their reality.
Yeah.
And there may not be any other place. Kids, most of the places kids spend their time are not set up to support them in grief. And so it's just that bit that they either have to tamp down or, metaphysically leave at home because it's not going to be welcomed here. So we're trying to make sure, that's why these conversations are so important.
Yes, ma'am.
We're talking with Dorothy Mockenstrum from Good Grief of Northwest Ohio. The work you're doing is incredible.
It is.
I've used this term to describe other people when I say you're an absolute rock star. You also happen to actually be a rock star.
Oh, I didn't know you knew about that. Yeah, yep. I'm in a band.
Yeah, so how long have you been doing that?
Pretty much my whole adult life. Yeah, off and on.
So never.
What's the band?
Our band is called Athens Wheeler.
Okay.
We just played last weekend. Mama's still getting over that tired. At Village Idiot in Maumee, and we're going to be playing.
And you're a vocalist.
I am.
Yeah, right. I've seen it. You guys are great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Dorothy, if people want more information on Good Grief, where can they find it?
Our website, goodgriefnwo.org. Take a spin around or give us a call.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk with
Thanks, you
Randy
guys.
Muth from Lucas County Children's Services.
Support for the 419 comes from Witro Wealth Management, where we understand that your financial path is personal. Advisory services are offered through Capital Investment Advisory Services, LLC. Securities offered through Capital Investment Group, Inc. Member FINRA and SIPC. More information at WitroAdvisors.com.
Destination Toledo. Whether you're a local or a visitor, Destination Toledo invites you to explore the region and be a tourist in Toledo. Find events, dining, and things to do at visittoledo.org.
WorkSpring. HR issues and employee well-being go hand in hand. WorkSpring supports employers through compliance, training, and wellness because healthy workplaces don't happen by accidents. Learn more at workspring.org.
Toledo Refining Company, a subsidiary of PDF Energy. Toledo Refining Company is a supplier of fuels that keep our region moving. Located in Oregon, Ohio, the refinery processes crude oil into gasoline, diesel, jet fuel, and other petroleum products.
And TARDA, celebrating its 55th year of connecting Northwest Ohioans to their community. More information at tarda.com.
WGTE Public Media's Educational Services Department provides outstanding programs, services, and resources to enhance learning outcomes for students, educators, and learners of all ages. WGTE's Educational Services Department teaches parents, caregivers, and educators how to utilize educational media, children's literature, and engaging activities to help prepare young children for a happy, healthy, and bright future. From PBS Kids programming specifically designed to support the development and creativity of young children to individualized lesson plans, standards-aligned curriculum, professional development classes, community events, and family fun movie nights right here at WGTE. Our Educational Services Department shares the tools you need for you and your little ones to feel like you belong. WGTE Public Media, where you belong.
Welcome back into the 419 powered by WGTE. We're joined now by Randy Muth with Lucas County Children's Services. Randy, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're new to Children's Services. Talk to us about, I guess, let's start with what is Lucas County Children's Services, and maybe that might be the next 14 minutes explaining all the work you guys do. But then what brought you to that organization?
Well, I'm not new to Children's Services. I'm new to Lucas County Children's Services. Been in the field about 27 years. Lucas County Children's Services is the public children's service agency. Every county has one. Our role is to protect children and lead the community in strengthening families.
Randy, you and I met when you first got here. Remind me how long that has been. Is it 3 years?
Yeah, a little over 2 years.
It's a little over 2 years. Yeah. In full candor, we are friends, although we only see each other at work, which is how people prefer to see me. You started out in just during, well, not that the work is ever easy, and there's certainly a need for this, but I don't know that people understand all the services that are underneath the umbrella of Lucas County Children's Services. You moved into a new location, which is certainly great and provides an opportunity for a new lease on life, but literally and metaphorically. But talk to me about all the things that are provided underneath your umbrella.
Yeah, that's a great point, Matt. And I think if you were to ask the average person on the street, what does Children's Services do? They'd tell you two things. They go out, they find kids who are abused, and then they put them in foster care. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty much where I think their knowledge ends.
Agreed.
Fortunately, that's actually where the real work begins for us. So we do those things. I mean, we do assess families for safety. When it's not safe for children to remain in the home, we do find substitute care. It's not always foster care. In fact, very few of the families that we serve have their children in foster care. When it is necessary for a child to not reside in the home, the next best thing is a relative or a kinship provider. What I mean by kinship is somebody who may not be related by blood, but has a long-standing relationship with that child. It's so important because the outcomes for children that are in kinship placement are so much better than those that are in foster care. So we have 3 full-time people. We call them FSE, Family Search and Engagement. Their job is to find relatives, engage those relatives, and then support the relatives to make that placement stable.
It was interesting to me years ago. I kind of learned the concept of, the goal of foster care is really to get the kids back to their parents, and that was surprising to me. I don't know why it was, but it just was. I mean, the thought of a child being taken from their parents because of something the parents have done, or there's a need for the parents to focus on themselves, but ultimately your goal is to get those kids back with those parents.
And that's what most people don't realize. And that's where the real work begins. That's where we spend the bulk of our time, helping those parents resolve whatever issues led to the initial intervention. A lot of times families come to us, they're in the worst state of their lives. Our goal is to help them get back and then make their life better. And we can spend up to a year, sometimes up to 2 years making that happen.
Randy, the comment that you just made is a good dovetail into my next question. You've inserted yourself professionally in some of the most difficult experiences in time, people's lives, just in lives in general. How on earth did you get into this work? How do you stay a leader? And what I mean by that, so I guess this is a little bit twofold too, not just about you personally, but you just mentioned 3 full-time individuals. You have a staff who are also dealing with this on a daily basis, and they're human beings as well. How did you get into this work, and how do you keep yourself getting out of bed in the morning and keeping everybody in the ship righted? It must be daunting. You're only 22 years old. You look terrible.
Thank you. Well, you know, I got into this field for the same reason any guy ever does anything, for a woman.
Yeah, sure.
I was a law student at the University of Akron. Didn't even know what children's services was. Figured I'd do what most law students do. I'll graduate, go work at the prosecutor's office, get a couple years of trial experience, and go into private practice and make $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. Not the $1 million part.
Sure.
But I graduated, went to the prosecutor's office, got about 80 trials under my belt, went into private practice, and got appointed to a couple of children's services cases representing the parents on that. We had this one dirty house case, and the caseworker, I got to know her a little bit, and she really did a lot of work to get this family back together. And I said, "Wow, thank you for doing that." She said, "Yeah, well, you owe me lunch. We've been married for 30 years.
Yeah.
So, and she is still a child welfare caseworker.
Yeah.
Not for Lucas County. That would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird.
Yeah, right. Finally, you're in charge.
I'm sure she'd find a way around it.
Yeah, sure.
So, you know, a couple of years after this, we were on opposite sides. I mean,
Yes.
My girlfriend, the caseworker, I'm the attorney. I had her on the stand a couple of times, and always with disclosure. But that just, yeah, I fell in love with her, and then I fell in love with that profession.
Yeah.
So, in 1999, and a staff attorney with Stark County Children's Services position opened up. So I left private practice, re-entered public service.
That's where the real money came.
That's right.
Welcome to $1 million.
It was.
So, but that's
I'm here now.
That's the clinical portion of it. Talking about the human portion of it. Although the work is necessary and has real meaning, and that's a motivator for sure. I work for an institution whose mission I believe in as well. But how do you keep at this, and how do you keep a team at it?
Well, being aware of the effect that this job, as a leader, I have to be aware of the effect that this job has on those that are doing it in the field.
Yeah.
And my wife has been at the case level for her entire 34 years in the field, so she helps me a lot with that.
Yeah.
Recognizing the signs of secondary trauma.
Okay.
Compassion fatigue, burnout.
Compassion fatigue is a fascinating concept. Yeah. And I guess I frequently rail on the fact that we are not an evolved species, and I also don't think the apocalypse is upon us either. But phrases like that make me think that maybe we are getting it and getting a little bit better. I interrupted you, Gretchen.
No, that's okay. Children's services usually comes into a situation at the worst possible time. Something bad has happened.
Yeah.
Someone has been reported. There's been a call that's been made. Does your agency do anything proactive? Parents don't know what they're doing a lot of times.
Yes.
There's 2 examples right here. Just kidding.
Thank you.
But it's hard. It's a tough job. It's tough to raise kids. Who's helping? If it's not you, if you know, who's helping parents be better, be the best they can be, keep their kids safe? Does Lucas County Children's Services involve themselves in proactive approach?
We do, and thank you for that question.
Sure.
Yeah, we actually have a program called the Parent Empowerment Institute. You mentioned, being a parent is tough, and a lot of times you don't know what to do, especially if you didn't have the best parents yourself. So we've established the Parent Empowerment Institute, which is a parent education program that is primarily designed to work in the community before there's a referral to our agency. And it's met with a lot of success. We have a lot of graduates. They speak highly of that program. We also, it's important to understand, though, too, that caseworkers are not actual direct service providers. We're case managers. So we are working to gather the mental health professionals here in the community and look at how can we get more intentional about wrapping services around families when there's an identified need before it reaches the level of a child welfare referral. And we had our first convening on March 3rd. We had about 30 community providers, but we brought in representatives from Casey Family Programs to actually to do exactly what you're saying. Let's get involved earlier, more comprehensively, more coordinated, so that we can prevent entries into the child welfare system.
Yep.
We're talking with Randy Muth with Lucas County Children's Services. You've been on the job for about 2 years. Part of that certainly is sort of an assessment of services, community reputation, all of that. To that end, you guys are engaging in a community-wide survey right now.
Correct.
Talk to us about what that is and how and why people should participate.
Yeah, so we have launched a county-wide survey. We're asking everybody to take it, please. You can do it very easily. Just go to our website, lucaskids.net. As soon as you do that, the first thing you'll see is the survey. Click on it. It takes about 6 to 8 minutes. We're going to ask you a little bit about who you are, what your demographics are. We're going to ask you, how familiar are you with the 27 different services that we provide?
Yeah, sure.
So, we're going to ask you to rate your opinion of our effectiveness with all of those, and then rate your level of satisfaction. Then there's a separate section. We're going to ask you, have you ever directly received services from Children's Services? The answer to that question is yes. There'll be about 5 or 6 more, because we want to know how was that experience. If you answer no, you're done.
And what do you plan to do with that data?
Great. It is also in Spanish.
Good.
Okay. All right.
It's all in Spanish?
Also.
Also in Spanish.
I was just kidding. Sorry.
Really 2 things. First is we want to know what the community thinks. We want to be responsive to the community. We want to know what their priorities are. So we'll use that. Second reason is this. It could take me a minute to explain it. About a year ago, the county commissioners convened a panel of 27 stakeholders, residents, to do nothing but lend their time, experience, in thinking about how can we make children's services better. They've been doing this.
And this was all after the Kamani Lateef case and the
it's
sort
the
of
task force.
Right.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for about a year. Twice a month, 2 hours, volunteer, and they're really close to wrapping up. We anticipate getting their final recommendations here in about another month or 2. And we want to honor that work. We want to honor that sacrifice. We want to implement those recommendations in good faith and as best we can. So that's the second point. So we're doing this one now, be like a baseline. We're going to get the recommendations, implement them, and then maybe a year, year and a half, 2 years, re-administer the same survey to see if we've moved the needle, where we've made progress, where we need to make further progress. So it's so important, thank you for that, it's so important that we get that baseline and that we have that understanding so that we can gauge how well are we validating the work of these 27 individuals over the last year.
And where can people find the survey?
lucaskids.net.
Okay.
And it's going from, how long do they have to take it?
Right now we're planning on closing May 17th. Unfortunately, our response rate at this point is not as great as I'd like to see, but we might be able to extend that.
Okay.
And
we should help you out. On our day jobs, we will plug in to help get that message out as well. Absolutely.
And you're working with an independent consultant who's doing this, so it's not. This is someone can fill this out and not feel like, oh, Randy's going to find out that I didn't like
that monster, Randy.
Yeah. Thank you for yes. It's Mays and Associates has developed and is administering. Even though you can access it on our website, we have a contract with Mays. Sure. It is going straight to them. They get all the individual responses. They are contractually prohibited from telling us any individual responses. What they'll do is aggregate that information and send it back to us.
as you're kind of doing an assessment on the organization, what were some of the kind of early impressions of Children's Services, and what's something that you found tends to be sort of a common misnomer in the community about this organization?
I think the common misnomer is that we want to take your children. We absolutely do not. We want to do, it's just the opposite. We want to do absolutely everything we can to prevent us from having your children. What attracted me to Lucas County is, like I said, I've been a director for 20 years in 2 other counties, and the reputation of Lucas County Children's Services statewide and on the national level is excellent. Simply by virtue of my position as director, not because of me. Casey family chose Franklin County, Hamilton, and Lucas County to go to D.C. for a high-level meeting with the Assistant Secretary of Health and Human Services, because the reputation of Lucas County Children's Services is so high.
Incredible. Randy, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem.
One more time for that website for the survey?
Yeah, lucaskids.net.
Great.
Awesome. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up this Tuesday edition of the 419.
You laughed with us. You learned with us.
Hi, neighbor.
We made sure your childhood was special. Memories that could only be provided by PBS. For generations, we've given you programs that made a difference. Programs that entertained, informed, and inspired. And today is no different. This is WGTE Public Media in Toledo. It's where you belong.
Take WGTE with you, wherever, whenever, with the newly redesigned WGTE app. Watch our locally produced TV programming and your favorite PBS shows. Listen to FM 91 Live, stream our podcasts, and stay in touch with NPR News. Plus, get access to PBS Kids, great entertainment when you're on the go. All on demand in the palm of your hand. Download the WGTE app on the Apple App Store or Google Play today.
Welcome back into the 419's wrap up, a Tuesday edition. Heavy topics today, so we didn't quite get to our normal 419 quiz, but let's do it. It's now time for Gretchen's Wacky Quiz. 4 rapid fire questions. Gretchen, we're putting you on the hot seat.
Okay, it's for me. Okay.
Which bad habits annoy you the most?
You're breathing. You're talking.
People that stand too close to me in line.
Have you ever regretted any decisions you made?
This show.
If you won $1 million, what would you buy?
I would fund Hope Toledo.
If you could speak any language, what would it be?
German.
Let's try English.
Toledo in one word?
Delightful.
Delightful. Nice job. All right.
Thank you.
Huge thanks to our guests for being on the
great
program. Again, it's this, you bring anybody on that's passionate about their work, and I get excited about the conversation with them.
Yep.
Jesse, obviously passionate about running in the running community, and then of course Dorothy and Randy. Serious, heavy topics,
yes,
tough work, but passionate about the work they do, and we're lucky to have them.
Yes,
Very
sir.
lucky.
Well said.
If you missed any part of today's show, you can catch it online 24/7, 365 at WGTE.org/the419 or download the new and improved WGTE app. Of course, 7 a.m. on YouTube, 3 p.m. on FM 91, or 6 p.m. on WGTE Connect's channel 30.4.
The box really.
I felt good about the time I started.
Yeah, sure.
But it might be a little much.
Yeah.
You can be on the program. Email us.
Yeah. Or you've got positive.
419@WGTE.org.
Call me. 419-297.
It's the 419, powered by WGTE, presented by Witro Wealth Management.
The 419, powered by WGTE, is made possible in part by supporters like you. Thank you.